Hello, kids. Good morning. How are you? Hope you are studying for your World History exam, eighth graders. This is a PowerPoint video presentation just for you to uh, try to remember the basic information that you're going to be needing for this exam. Okay, so let's see. Remember that in this third bimester exam, we have been working with some lessons about ancient China. In this case, the first one, it's going to be geography and early China. As our second section from this chapter is the Shu dynasty and new ideas. In this case, we're going to be studying as quick facts about Zhou society, the dialects, and the main ideas of Confucianism. Later, we are going to pass to look at the Qin dynasty, which is section 3 from this chapter. And finally, but not least, we have the Han dynasty. So basically, these are the four main topics that you are going to be trying to consider for your study material on your world history class. China covers an area of nearly 4 million square miles, about the same size as the United States. And in this case, what you should be able to remember when we are talking about China's physical geography is that one of the physical barriers that separates China from its neighbors is a harsh desert, the Gobi. Okay, the Pacific Ocean forms the country's eastern boundary, and in the southwest, the plateau of Tibet has several mountain peaks that reach more than 26,000 feet. From the plateau, smaller mountain ranges spread eastward. The most important of these ranges is the Qingling Shandy. So in this case, if we are going to be talking about the rivers of China, please do not forget that the Huanghe or Yellow River stretches for nearly 3,000 miles across northern China. But to the south, we also have the Changyang or Yangtze River. Cuts through central China, and it flows from the mountains of Tibet to the Pacific Ocean. The Changjiang is the longest river in Asia. Um, when we get to study about the beginnings of China's civilization, well, first of all, we have to know that ancient people over there farmed, built villages, and finally formed a civilization. In this case, we can talk about the development of farming. We can talk about early settlements. We can talk about the Xia dynasty and the Shang dynasty as well, and which are, in this case, the China's first dynasties. The big idea in this specific lesson about geography and early China can be that the Chinese civilization began with the Shang dynasty, right? And obviously that it was located along the Huanghe River. But the three main ideas over here, the first one is that China's physical geography made farming possible, but travel and communication was very difficult. The second one is that the civilization began in China along the Huanghe and the Changjiang rivers, and finally that China's first dynasties helped Chinese society develop and made many other achievements. In this case, one thing that you should be able to keep in mind is that archaeologists have found remains of early Chinese villages. One village site near the Huanghe had more than 40 houses, for example. Many of the houses were partly underground, and many have had straw-covered roof. The site also included animal pens, storage pits, and a cemetery. And And obviously, we cannot forget that um, they really like to work with jewelry and other objects that were made from jade, which we already know that is a hard gemstone. China is a vast land with a very diverse geography. Ancient Chinese civilization developed in the fertile valleys of the Huanghe and Changjiang, right? And civilization there advanced under the Shan rule. People developed a social order, a writing system, and made other achievements. And so that is why in this section, we are going to try to remember or study about the new ideas in China during the rule of the Zhou dynasty. Okay, so first of all, what we can start saying here is that the Zhou dynasty ruled over a kingdom in China, right? They joined with other nearby tribes and attacked and overthrew the Shan dynasty. The Zhou dynasty lasted longer than any other dynasty in Chinese history. If we get to talk about the Zhou political system, well, we can say that the Zhou kings claim to possess the mandate of heaven. According to this idea, heaven gave power to the king or leader, and no one ruled without heaven's permission. If a king was found to be bad, heaven will support another leader. The Shu established a new political order. They granted land to others in return for loyalty, military support, and other services. The Shu king was at the highest level. He granted plots of lands to the lords or people of high rank. And the lords paid taxes and provided soldiers to the king as needed. Peasants or farmers with small farms were at the bottom of the order. Each peasant family received a small plot of land and had to farm additional land for the noble. The system uh, was kind of hard, but in this case, the Shu system brought order to China, ruling through lords, helped the Shu control distant areas, and help ensure loyalty to the king. The Shu dynasty, in this case, however, over time, they had some problems with the political order because it got to be broken down, and lords passed their powers to their sons who were less loyal to the king, and local rulers gained power. So they began to reject the authority of the Shu kings. Last but not least, we get to maintain and review the main ideas of this lesson. First of all, we have that the Shu dynasty expanded China but then declined. Number two is that Confucius offered ideas to bring order to Chinese society. And number three, Taoism and legalism also gained followers. So what can we say about Taoism? First of all, that it takes its name from Tao, meaning the way. Taoism stressed living in harmony with the Tao, the guiding force of all reality. And if we are going to be talking about Confucianism, well, in this case, we have four main ideas here to discuss. First of all, that people should be respectful and loyal to their family members. The second one is that the leaders should be kind and lead by an example. Number three, learning is a process that never ends. And number four, heaven expects people to behave well and act morally. So in this case, if we're going to try to define legalism as well, well, legalism is the belief that people were bad by nature and needed to be controlled. Contrasted with both Confucianism and Taoism, unlike the other two beliefs, legalism was a political philosophy without religious concerns. Instead, it dealt only with government and social control. So as a small summary, we can say that when the Zhou dynasty crumbled, political and social chaos erupted. In response, the new teachings of Confucianism, Daoism, and legalism emerge. And then on our next presentation, we are going to be talking and learning more about how the Qin dynasty applied the teaching of legalism. So see you on our next world history PowerPoint video presentation. See you, kids.